I got up early enough. It just had to do a bunch of stuff at the shack there, Always something to do. Maybe a little higher there. It's not ringing out. Is it my ears or is it... Duh. Oh, I know what it is. I put a rubber band around here. Get that rubber band. That was the problem. Yesterday I was playing with a rubber band on the bass side of the guitar there. Just experimenting, you never know. I was wondering why it didn't ring out. I'm like a walking encyclopedia, long of the tooth, old, and I once knew it all, before I forgot. Ever since I moved away from downtown Chicago, I feel like I'm out of the loop. You hear about this? I read it in the paper just the other day. Someone stole all the toilets from a police station. In the news report, and the headlines read, "Cop investigation shows that they have nothing to go on." All right, now we're back to something else here. I didn't prepare for this morning. Of course, I never prepare. You ready to take the test there, man? Heck no, I didn't study. I feel like I'm turtled on a fence, throwing pennies in a fountain, or padlock my heart to the side of a bridge. And in the end, many a life goes up in smoke on a funeral pyre with all of our hopes. Dreams burning in illuminations of torment in our solitude. Two is company, three's a crowd, and one is more than enough. Lonely as a pine tree in a forest with some fungus growing below. A little something looks a little red and spotted with snowflakes. Full moons bright and shining through the god of Apollo. Ambiguous hopes of skies and sunshine. It's supposed to hit 60 today. 60 in the great Northeast, and it's not even springtime. When I was a wee lad, my social network was outside. Well, where I grew up, we didn't have a refrigerator. We had an Iceman. Came twice a week. The coal man came with those canvas bags, and he'd shovel the coal off the truck into the bag and sling it over his shoulder and put it down the coal chute, and Pa would shovel it into the furnace. And twice a week, the milk would come, bottles sitting on the porch in a metal box that was insulated. You had those little umbrellas to take the cream off the top in those funny shaped bottles. And the good humor man would come and ring his bells and come down the street in the summertime. And all the kids would say, "Hey Ma, hey Pa, can I get a nickel? I want to get an ice cream." And Davy Crockett was our king. And the wild frontier, Disney, Mickey Mouse. Remember Shirley Temple? 3D glasses, comic books, and all around the world. Propeller airplanes, and Cinderella lost her slipper to the prince, and Prince Charming wore a top hat. Remember saddle shoes and bazooka bubblegum and hula hoops? Stickball in the streets, and those little pink balls, and Cracker Jacks and bazooka bubblegum with all those funnies tucked inside, and baseball cards, and we'd get Ma's clothespins and we'd attach them to the back fender of our bikes, and it would go rum, 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 like we were a motorcycle. Yeah, playing in the streets and playing in the swamps and swimming in the Hudson River, and radios had vacuum tubes, and we'd see if little Billy would scream if we pinched his toes. We'd tie each other up and we'd make explosives out of match heads. And we'd play with knives and mumbly peg and hope we didn't cut our toes. And we'd be down and catching frogs and snakes and running through the weeders, exploring life in the deep lore. Rolling corn silk cigarettes, and way before the days of smartphones, they were the good old days. Good old days, good for nothing or good for something or good for memories. Rolling down memory lane. It's just a vibration of the soul, you know. I remember I had a Triumph 650, wild pulsating. Oh boy. When you'd strap your legs over that saddle and do a wheelie. Oh man, Triumph 650. Before that I had a little moped, and before that my brother had brought home what did they call those little things you'd sit on that had one cylinder and go pop, 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 pop down the road, and then we had the roller skates, and we had training wheels on our bicycles, and they got 21 speed bicycles. I had an old Hercules 3-speed, yeah. I used that bike completely up, and when I was done with it, I got a hacksaw and cut it into little pieces, because I spent half my time repairing that bike and a quarter of the time driving it, and the rest of the time looking at it, scratching my head how I was going to keep it going. Oh yeah, remember the hobby stores where you could buy Tesla glue and plastic cars that you could put together after school? And if you were a real degenerate, you'd do it in the closet with a flashlight so you could inhale all the fumes. Building fires and beating one another up, and it was just all fun and giggles and playing Sprongsies and such, and doctor and flashlight and wagon and doing everything we could and building this and building that, and never hanging out in our room. We'd be roaming around town or riding our bikes from one place to another. Heck, here man, make sure you're in by dinner. Our parents didn't care where we were. They didn't worry, because the world was one big family, like a kibbutz. You could be 2 towns over on your bicycle, and if you got out of line, some guy come along and grab you by the collar and cuff you. Yeah, I remember when policemen weren't afraid to arrest somebody, and I remember when, way back when cars were muscle cars and girls were woo-hoo. Girls were girls, and guys were guys, and football and tearing down the goalposts, and oh yeah, hometown basketball games. And after the game, if you didn't win, you'd bombard the bus with snowballs. It was just all good, clean fun. And look at it now, people are playing with, using their bodies like amusement parks. And it's one big mean machine, one big holiday. Then you grow up and get a job, and it's all downhill from there. And the moral of this story is, make your love, make your joy, make your happiness your job, and not worry about the money, Hairman, because the money will come, and after all, it's just monopoly money. Woo-hoo! Where you going? To Hades in a handbasket.